Snow White, Snow Brown.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The slant.
Yeah, but isn't this the unplugged version? I don't know. I think it's the unplugged version. All right, Paulie, let's go.
Snow White, oh, Snow Brown. In its 100, almost 20 years of cinematic interpretations, it's this current new casting that's caused a ruckus, a stir, a clamor, a fervor, a fight, and heated conversation. My name is Paulie. Welcome to the Latino Slant. It is a special show that we've put together. I have two wonderful people that are joining me. Pero antes, respira. Mi gente, breathe. Say hello to everyone in the chat. Before I bring them on, we put together a quick little video, and I wanted to play it because context and history is everything. History of racism and casting practices in Hollywood that has led us up to this point in 2021, and why this is so important, but why this is also creating such a ruckus. So hello to all the early comers here. Let's check out this video. I will be playing it again at the end of the show. Here we go. Enjoy. Okay, there you have it. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, the Latino Slant, share the link. Let's get our wonderful people in here now. I am joined by the amazing Meyer Burnett and just the brilliant Reina Creole. Hello.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Mad props for the Mambo Kings in there. Just wanted to say. I love that movie.
I think we can agree that most of those performances are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, especially Pacino's with Scarface, because I just happened to finally sit
Did
down
you
and
finally
watch
see
that.
it?
I did. I sat down and I watched it last week.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Um, for me, how can I put this? For me, since my family is from Florida and born and raised in Florida, for me, it was pretty much like the aftermath of the Mario boat lift,
Right.
brought to life. So it's kind of like I've seen the story, I've heard about it like years. Everything about it is something that I'm just, used to and know about. So it's kind of like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, that happened. Okay, I get it. Otherwise, I like the film. I like the film. Al Pacino is amazing, but I'm sorry I didn't buy him as Cuban, but hey, I know too many of them. I'm just like, I'm sorry. It's just not John here. But I enjoyed the film. I really did.
And yet that was the best choice for the leading man at that time, Robert. Oliver Stone, Brian De Palma. It doesn't get any better. And then you have, and it's great to kind of dive into this casting, because we've come a long way. And yet, it seems that no matter, you can't make anyone happy, first of all, with these
No.
Especially today.
So what especially today. So what I'd like to do is just, again, if I will play that video after we wrap up. This is going to be a nice and quick and dirty show, but going to be impactful. All those performances, Latino characters portrayed by non-Latino roles. Think of all the Latino actors during the decades that never got a chance to play themselves, much less out of their race, which is even more rare. And I just have a quick list. During the same 120 years, 8 prominent Latinos have played non-Latino roles. Eddie Olmos, Clifton Collins Jr., Stephen Bauer, Rita Moreno, Jose Ferrer, who was the only Latino ever to win the Academy Award Best Actor, Gina Torres, Henry Darrow, and Ricardo Montalban, the Wrath of Khan. And most of these roles were sci-fi, which God bless sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
What are your impressions of this Snow White casting and the knee-jerk reactions that you have seen? Maybe let's start with you, Lorena.
Okay, I was going to let Robert go first, but
oh no, please, ladies first.
The thing, like the original tweet that I had replied to, was the cry of this is, forced diversity. With myself, just to back up a little bit, I am of Afro-Latino descent. And one of the things that people kept talking about this with respect to race, and I'm kind of looking at it side-eyed, kind of like this. Latino is not a race. It's not. My 6th great grandfather, Don Francisco Sanchez, okay? He was of Spanish descent, born in Florida, which made him a Floridano. On all the census materials from Spanish Florida of that time period, do you know what his race was? Blanco. He had children with a mulatto woman. His children were Catalan, but they were treated as white in that particular society. So Latino is a spectrum. And it's an ethnicity. It is not a race. And unfortunately, because you have people who are misinformed, thinking that it is a race, all of a sudden jump into the whole thing of this is race swapping. How would you like it if it was, say Black Panther was portrayed by a white guy, all of that. And the conversation just de-evolved. And unfortunately, when it does that, you give ammunition to people who already are saying, oh, the fandom is racist, the fandom is bigoted, the fandom is racist. And that's not the issue. The issue that you have going on here is that this isn't a race swap. It's an ethnicity swap. Now, this young lady, her father is Polish, her mother is Colombian. And it's kind of like the issue of, let's say you have 007 played by someone who's, German. Could you possibly get away with it? Yes. Is it a good casting choice? I don't think so. I don't. And the same thing kind of like applies here. You want to, cast this young lady, obviously, from what I understand, You know, she's a wonderful singer. She's a wonderful dancer. I'm just talking on the merits of her talent alone, not her political motivations or anything like that. And that's who they chose. Now, according to the grim story, yes, I know what it is. The mother of Snow White said, I want a daughter whose hair is as dark as my window pane and skin as white as snow. Now, you want to cast someone who's olive skinned instead of extremely pale. Could you do it? Yes. Is it a good casting choice? I don't know. So that way I call it bad casting. I don't call it forced diversity. Forced diversity would be saying, okay, we definitely has to cast this person as, say, Black or whatever. Like for the example that happened with Ariel. I was a big fan, I still am, of Hans Christian Andersen's writings. So even though Disney went a totally different direction from what the original fairy tale was, she was fair-skinned with red hair. That's what I expect to see. And that's not what they cast. So for me, that is race swapping. In the case here with this reimagined, and again, the term, you know, reinterpretation, it's like the difference between the Wizard of Oz and the Wiz, which I kind of have to tell people. And not the Wiz is not word for word verbatim what the Wizard of Oz is. It's a different interpretation. So with this, the selection that they're making, it has nothing to do with race. It's not race-based. It's ethnicity-based. And it's probably not the best choice, but it doesn't warrant the descent into the argument about race swapping, critical race theory. It's like, yeah, we know that's all out there, but this is not it in this case. It's really, you know, it's really not. And that's kind of how I see it.
I couldn't have said it better than you just did. I mean, I think that, gosh, you brought a measured, intelligent, thoughtful position to the fore, which, gosh, you'd think that would be the norm, but it's not. And I mean, you're somebody who actually knows. And coming from, it's bizarre to me. I was adopted into a Jewish family. So my whole life, people have said, well, you don't look Jewish. I'm like, well, I mean, I went to Sunday school. I learned Hebrew. I was bar mitzvahed. My family built a synagogue. Am I not Jewish? Well, you weren't born Jewish. There's even Jews that are saying to me, according to the law, scriptural law, you know, you're not a Jew. And then I found out that my biological mother, when I was 29, was Jewish. And then it's like, wow, I've been having these weird conversations with people my whole life. We are so wrapped up in this, more so than I think I've ever seen in my entire life. The questions around race in this country in particular, I think have gotten a little bizarre. Now, somebody who works in the entertainment business, as I am, you know, they're casting people, especially Snow White. You're casting an actress that can bring the right things to the role, sing, dance. I'm really curious about how the story of Snow White, so a woman in servitude to 7 white dudes cleaning their house all day long while they go off to work. I mean, how's that going to work? How's that story going to fly, you know, in today's world? But I think that what I really miss is, like what you just said, Lorena, a thoughtful, nuanced conversation about all of these things. And like you said, the actress they cast is from, literally represents two sides of you can go to Eastern Europe and Poland, and then you can go to Colombia, which is an entirely different world away. And she's a product of both of those, as you said, ethnicities. And from with traditions that probably couldn't be further away from one another. And to me, she represents the future, you know, where we're going to have a group of people now that are there's more and more people of mixed descent all around the world, which means to me, people are being built to be more diverse from the time they're born. And that can only be a good thing. Wouldn't you? I know that I would rather have come from a parentage of parents that had two wildly differing backgrounds, so I could have experienced both of those backgrounds. What a great way to grow up. What an exciting, well, on one hand, you could go and you could party with your Colombian family, and then you can go be morose and talk about how depressed you are being from Poland and how half your family was persecuted by the Soviets and then the Nazis. I mean, you could have the best of both worlds. But I find that what I want to see in my actors is the best people they can find for the roles that are going to bring something spectacular to their portrayals on screen that elevate the material. You talk about loving Hans Christian Andersen, Paulie. We were talking about this. You said, but was it Bavaria? Where is the Snow White story originally set?
Bavaria, that area, like the dark black forest. Like I've actually been there. That part of Germany.
I mean, that's an interesting case. You look at. Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
muted on my own show. And the real person was a Bavarian noblewoman that it was inspired from, as was Zorro inspired by a real, Latino bandit, Joaquin Murrieta.
Right.
Which is wonderful. It's wonderful. That's what legends are all about.
Yeah.
What I got here, and I want to say thank you to the help of T-Shirted Historian, Mexican Iron Man, the boys from Midnight's Edge Espanol. They've put together all these facts and great stuff for me. We have, like I said, over 80 iterations of Snow White since 1902. Live action, anime, Italian, Japanese, Bollywood. I mean, how amazing is that, guys?
I'd like to see that Bollywood one.
Right?
But I think you just
let me read these really quick, get them out of the way, because I know we're on short time with you guys. But Storyman Jack, $4.99. Perhaps a lot of us are just too sensitive after the last decade, maybe the last year.
Yeah, and I totally get that.
Totally and then he also said earlier, hail all, I've had to reevaluate my position listening to all of you, and Jane Theory. Hail Jane Theory. I'll hold judgment. Hey, you know what? I am not one for telling anyone not to have a formulated opinion.
Exactly.
What I don't want, and what I've seen, is going down and devaluing based on someone's ethnicity. I mean, I've literally just saw this morning someone put up a post regarding Snow Brown, comments she's going to be all Salvadorian in the Bronx, slinging dope and getting just.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. And that is where we don't serve anyone by doing that. We're all here. We're all in the same country, guys. And and then Roger with the thumbs up. Muchísimas gracias, guys. Robert, you said about this particular actor who's and playing Maria in West Side Story.
Yeah.
Who I love Natalie Wood, but and I will always love that West Side Story. And in high school, I played. You talk about the person for the best role. I went for Bernardo, and because I was the only guy that could hit the notes, I ended up playing Tony.
You know what? Can I tell you something about West Side Story? I remember when I was a kid and I saw that. I asked my mom. I said, how come Rita Moreno isn't in this? And that was like my thought, because I loved her. It's like I knew she could sing, she could dance, she was amazing. And I was just like, how come Rita Moreno isn't in West Side Story? And my mom couldn't answer that. And to me, it just didn't make sense that she wasn't there. Of course, I was a kid then, so I didn't understand. Now I understand with respect to what was going on with casting in Hollywood. But I just find that interesting when even that young, you still pick up on some of those things.
Well, also, Paulie, you brought up a really good point. The Snow White story has been retold across different groups of people, different nationalities. It's translated into a Bollywood film in East India. Why is that story appealing across the world beyond any kind of ethnic boundaries or social boundaries? Why is that story important? And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, storytelling in general is all about human truths, not ethnic truths, although they can certainly be there. That the core stories are supposed to tell tales that appeal to the human experience. And despite our differences, all human beings have similar experiences. We all have kids that are a pain in the ass. We all have to make the money to house our family and to feed our family. These are basic human truths of life that have been true for tens of thousands of years that aren't going to change anytime soon. And the great stories appeal to all of us. And the fact that you can have The Wiz coming out of Wizard of Oz, or you can make West Side Story, which is Romeo and Juliet retold and
Exactly.
reformatted. And I think that's the most important thing. Like, I was reading all these. First of all, I have not seen the new West Side Story. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
But I think the reason that she got the job was based on her performance in West Side Story. Somebody probably called Steven Spielberg up and said, "Steve, how was she?" And he probably gave her the blessing and said, this woman is a true talent. She transcends a lot. And probably because her dad was Polish and her mom's Colombian, that she was able to grow up the way she did. And it's that heady combination, that frothy mix of different kinds of people that forged her into the young woman that she is. And in a funny way, she represents more of the world, more of our planet than, say, someone who came from one necessarily ethnic background. And I think what we should do is wait and see. It's so funny to me. In Hollywood, when people are casting somebody to lead your movie, to be the romantic interest of your film, they're trying to make somebody that they want to cast somebody that anybody will look at and go, "Yep, that's Snow White." They don't want to cast somebody and go, we don't want people to no. They want to know that they've got the best person to play Snow White because they're going to spend $100 million plus making this movie. So it's the same. I see as the same when everyone complained about Heath Ledger playing the Joker. That wasn't race-based, but that's not what the Joker looks like. He's not him. And then, of course, can anybody imagine a world without Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in it?
Exactly.
Or Chris Evans as Captain America?
Yeah, absolutely.
He got a lot. They got a lot of slap back because before then he was kind of the Joker-ish Johnny Storm. It's
right?
Like, he can't be Cap.
Yeah.
And who else couldn't be? I mean, he's amazing.
Right.
Let me just read this real quick. And I want to thank Robert Meyer Burnett and Reina Creole for being here. Great show. We're already having some great conversation. Jane Theory, who's also a great YouTuber.
Hey, Jane.
Check her out. I've seen a post calling it Mud Brown. Hollywood sold her that way as Black or super ethnic, and people were quick to believe it and decry it. Why?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's well, I think there's a couple things here. It's how the media and like writing, all those guys write it and present it as news, right? Or even the press release from the studios.
That's another thing that doesn't.
Right, which I'm not excited about, but the casting, the who's doing the music. These are the same people that did La La Land, which these guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Just as In the Heights, and it's funny, man, we're all talking about musicals here. In the Heights is delightful. It's not the best, but I recommend it. The music's amazing. What Lin-Manuel did with the Broadway musical was never done before. Just on that, you should go see it. Great performances.
Exactly, because I loved Hamilton. I mean, I purposely didn't see it for a while because I'm like a historical purist, but it's like, you know what? It's art. Go and enjoy it for the sake of what it is. And I did, and I absolutely loved it. And the way that he came at it, he will make people interested in history who never were before.
Yes.
And Mexican Iron Man, Mike, for $4.99. I think the three of you need to team up from a studio and fix this Hollywood thing. We need some backing, and maybe Mexican Iron Man can back us. But that sounds like a great idea.
I like that.
And Bud Boy Productions with the €2. Since when did fairy tales have to be race locked?
I kind of look at it from two different standpoints. If you want to do something step for step exactly like the fairy tale, then yes, it's a certain standard that you need to adhere to. If you want to go and do your own interpretation, aka like Hamilton or say like The Wiz, then it does. I don't feel that it has to be race locked. But I think it's important to understand, those two sides, because you have some people who are just like, I like it to just be true to the exact version. Okay, I get that, because that's a certain trope that you're used to seeing. But at the same time, don't discount if someone says, hey, you know what? I may not be of that same ethnic background, but like Robert was saying, there's certain universal truths in that story that I adhere to, and I want to introduce it to my culture and kind of put the two together, repackage it and put it out there. So you see that same universal story, but with some information about another culture. And I think that's one of the wonderful things about cultural exchange. Like I said, my background in my name, Creole. If I told you how many ethnicities have been in my background since my family landed here in like 1490 or something like that in the Caribbean, we'd be here all day. And I'm used to a background that's very, very diverse with different kinds of cultures, stuff from every kind of culture. And that's what Creole is. You have cultures from all over the world in the new world to make a new identity. So that's kind of the standpoint that I come from with that.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I think though that what's really strange is now we live in a time like when I was growing up, as I've said before a lot, my parents never had an unkind word to say about anyone. Mm-hmm. And being a science fiction fan, I was, I guess, more open, not just aliens from outer space, but anybody I could meet on the planet that was different than me. I enjoyed that. I thought, well, how cool is this? That there's all of these different kinds of people that have different backgrounds. And so, I grew up liking, there's douchebags everywhere. But for the most part, I was predisposed to enjoying other people and other cultures. And I have to say, it's only been in the last 5 years that we now have the media and we have a lot of people telling us, branding us. They're telling you, no, you're a racist. You're a sexist. You're an ist, whatever you are. There are people that are now telling you, and I'm thinking to myself, even them telling me that I'm a racist is really only about I'm a racist towards certain people. I always ask, well, I'm a big fan of Asian cinema. I grew up watching Asian cinema since I was a little kid. Like to me, I would not want to watch Asian cinema with a bunch of white people in it. The whole point was seeing a culture that I didn't, get to see.
Yeah.
The whole point, the talk about folklore and fairy tales, Asian cinema is full of them, all from a different perspective. And I grew up loving those things, and I can't imagine my life without them. And the same was true of whenever I'd see Indian movies. I remember seeing a movie called Lagan that came out, I don't know, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It was a 3-hour movie basically about cricket, and it's from India. And I'm like, I didn't know anything about cricket, and I'm watching this and I'm thinking, I remember seeing My Beautiful Laundrette, which is a British film about Pakistani immigrants. I didn't know any I didn't know any. Movie. It was a great movie. I didn't know any Pakistani immigrants because I'm from Seattle.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. And you watch that film and the whole point of stories is to tell the tales of people around the world. And why isn't this a good thing? And if you want to mix and match and change, there's a Japanese remake of Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. The Magnificent Seven is a remake of the Seven Samurai.
Exactly.
Which is Shakespearean based.
And
Kurosawa's done that over and over again.
Ron, King Lear. And would you ever trade these things?
So there's I want to hit this because I know I only have like 10 more minutes with you, Robert. There's a hang up here that I've seen a lot in posts. Skin is white as snow. So she can't be Snow White because her skin is not white as snow. And what I got here, and this is from the Oxford language, is that as pure as the driven snow, completely virtuous or innocent, having no moral flaws. That could be the reinterpretation part of that. The
100%.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be. Maybe it's because her heart is so pure. So to me, that's an easy rewrite. It's almost fits like a glove. And then it really has nothing to do with the skin. What do you guys think?
Yeah, there's a point in the story where, who is the fairest, of them all. And from what I understood from the story and from other Grimm's fairy tales is that fairest was equivalent to beauty, who is the most beautiful, which is why the evil queen was so freaking evil because she was not, the fairest. It doesn't mean that she was the palest. It was that she was not the most beautiful. And the magic mirror kept telling her that she wasn't, and that Snow White was, which is why she sent the huntsman out to, kill her and carve her heart out and bring her heart back to her, as a
She wanted that
prize.
heart, that pure heart.
Yeah, that's what she wanted.
You both just rewrote the film beautifully. What you both just said is exactly the point. I mean, I can understand you can say that maybe it's like you're taking it literally. Snow is, again, it's virginal. When after a night's snowfall, you walk out and there's this beauty. No human being looks like the white of snow.
Thank you. That's another point that I was going to bring out. It's like, what is she going to look like? Casper, not for nothing.
I mean, I
remember that line in the fairy tale. And it's kind of like, does she really want like a ghost? Right. It's like I get it. It's like I get it, but I don't think that the person is supposed to be literally, white as snow. But like Paulie was saying, but the interpretation's there.
Well, that's another thing. I think that educated, intelligent people don't have these kind. Well, now I'm being. What am I being? Learnist? What is my ist? I think people let's call them thoughtful. I think thoughtful people that don't have immediate knee-jerk reactions might come up with the exact same conclusions that you both so eloquently stated. The meanings of words and things like this. Well, Snow White, it's bizarre. I've never even thought of myself as white. I mean, look at my face. I'm ruddy red half the time because of how much I drink, or I'm peach colored or something. And it's just, it's such a bizarre idea. But like you said, Lorena, the idea of virtue and the idea of beauty being the fairest one, that's exactly what it means. And, I think that's a perfect reinterpretation of all these things. And the idea that snow, it's not the literal word. I mean, what is the word white? Blanco? That doesn't sound Blanca for her. It doesn't sound, Blanca. Like, I didn't grow up thinking Blanca is white. I learned Spanish later. So when I hear the word Blanca, I'm like, man, I'd rather be Blanca than white because Blanca is a cooler word. It's more fun to say. And yet it's a total different thing depending on what language you speak. So Pure as the Driven Snow I don't remember, but were Hans Christian Andersen's story, were they written in English? Or were they translated?
Maybe some people in the chat might know.
Grimm's Tales, I think they were translated.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe even the meaning of the words doesn't matter, and it's the idea that's being conveyed of the most beautiful woman in the land. So if that's the case, you could tell this story anywhere, and it has nothing to do with color or ethnicity. It's just about beauty, and that's a huge point. So it's really not a leap to stress that point and make this story work. Yeah, I just don't know how they're going to get around the fact that she shacks up with 7 dudes and does all their laundry and dishes.
And telling them how to wash their face and dance. So okay, well, I get the dance part, but
where does she sleep in that house?
Yeah,
I don't think they've ever shown that.
I don't think they will, but that's definitely going to be a question that comes up.
Yeah, it's gonna be gonna be interesting just because of modern times.
Yeah,
what they have their work cut out for them, but on the virtuous part, I hope that they keep to that, and it doesn't become any type of social or political statement of our times. It is a musical, so but yeah, but also too with this particular actor who's I believe is only 20.
Yeah,
she's been singing since she was a kid and been the lead in all the musicals and all in from high school till now. So the talent, as far as the best person for the role is there. Whether they had political means already, I do not know. You can say that with Andy Muschietti with Supergirl. Vas a ver, right? We will see. I try to take each one case by case. What I do know is the history of Hollywood's casting practices. And maybe and it's not just one studio, guys. It's not just Disney. It's not just 20th Century and all these people, but it seems that everyone is trying to overreach to compensate for their guilt of the past, as far as casting practices. And that's really my initial feeling on this. You know, in racism and being called a racist, it's not exclusive to black and white people. Part 2 tonight, because we're gonna end soon, is I'm gonna be with a Latino director tonight where we talk about racism within our own culture and how In the Heights has brought that out.
Yeah.
Because even with supporting In the Heights and Rita Moreno, I've been called a white passing racist Latino.
I'm sorry.
So this is amazing. Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
Yeah,
It's the weird. When did we all become super judgy of everybody? Like, how do we walk around with this virtue that now gives us the right to be the jury and, in some cases, executioner of people's lives, at least publicly? It's very bizarre. I certainly would never put myself in a position to judge anybody, and yet here we are on social media. Everyone's quick to throw down the lightning from the heavens to skewer anyone they feel is not stepping into line. It's very weird.
Great comments in the chat by wonderful people
so.
that love and support all two of you guys, all of us, and it's great to see you guys here on this discussion of the casting of Snow White. Rachel Zegler, I believe.
Rachel Zegler, yes.
And she's also Maria in the upcoming West Side Story. And yeah. I mean, this was, first our reaction to all the knee-jerk reactions to race and ethnicity, and it can become too much, Robert. And I sometimes wish we could all just fly away in a spaceship.
Well, I always go back to what Dr. King said: is judge people on their character.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we live on a planet. I've always thought there's one race of people here, the human race. We all came out of one area of the world and spread out across the planet. And if you go back far enough, our DNA represents the fact that we are one race of people. And I'm hoping my as a futurist and somebody who loves science fiction, I was longing for the day when, we all leave this planet, not forever, but en masse together, where, we have the best and the brightest representing humanity traveling amongst the stars. That's kind of what Star Trek was all about when I was 5, and it's so weird now that we're so quick to find, I always thought, let's find our common ground. I grew up believing that. And now the world has become, especially this particular country, has become so bizarre and tribal that we're trying to find all of our differences so we can segregate ourselves into whatever little micro groups we want to be in. And that's just weird to me.
That's just really backwards, because the idea was to take, no matter what your background was, at the end of the day, everyone was American. It wasn't, a bad thing to say, I'm American of German descent. This is my heritage. I'm an American of Latino descent. This is my heritage. I'm American of, say, Scottish descent. Here is my heritage. And we all appreciate each other's cultures, even though we're all different. At the end, we're all one nationality. And that's how it used to be. And having people excluded from that was the problem. Once that was eliminated, that's where we seem to be going, where everyone was proud to be who you were or who you are and what your background was, and also proud to be American. Now it's completely flipped.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's a shame, and we really need to right that.
Well, I always guys. Go ahead, Robert.
I was going to say, I always go back to food. Everyone likes all the different kinds of food, whether you like Mongolian barbecue, whether you like Mexican food, and you've got Tex-Mex or Southern Mexican food. Do you like Asian cuisine? Do you like European cuisine, Indian food, Ethiopian food? One of the great things about living in LA is you can drive down Pico and drive from the beach all the way downtown LA, and you can go on a world tour of food. And would you not want that? I mean, that's what those good eats that come from around the world are representative of all those different cultures, sometimes thousands of years of development to get those spices just right. And I'll tell you one thing, I'd rather live in a world that is full of all that kind of rich, wonderful food that was created by all those diverse, ethnic, amazing people from across this planet. And that alone tells me that, hey, man, we're lucky to live on a planet with all of the wonderful concoctions people have made up over the years. And I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Well, I know you guys have to be going. I'll read all the super chats after you guys say your goodbyes, and thank you for this special show. We're not going to solve all the world's problems, but it's a forum, it's discussion. So
absolutely, I want to thank you for that too. Thank you, Paulie, very much.
This is awesome. So I'm glad you had this glad you had this stream. It was sorely needed.
Yep.
Yeah, and just coming at it from just a different slant, and a place of respect, of course. So, any closing thoughts from you two guys?
Well, just that, I think that everybody should keep an open mind. And remember, I always say this on my show, but every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And isn't it better to listen to that story? You'll be a better person.
Absolutely.
You're the man. All right. Well, I know you got a heart out.
You got to go.
You can catch Robert on his channel, the Burnett Work, and all the wonderful things, including at midnight, which I was up watching you guys. Crazy. I love it. You have a good day, brother.
All right. I'll see you later. What a great stream. Thanks for doing this, Paulie. And Lorena, it's always a delight to stream with you.
Oh, likewise, Robert. Likewise. Take care.
Take care, Robert. And Lorena, let us any closing thoughts and then what you got going on today?
I would say, just for closing thoughts, don't be too quick to judge something before it comes out. That kind of doesn't seem like the best way to expend energy. Once it comes out and you can actually criticize it, then again, go hog wild with it. But just try to keep in mind that when things are marketed a certain way, that doesn't mean that that's truly the way that it is. And kind of just take the time out to actually listen to someone else's point of view. You may not like it. It may, sound like nails going down a chalkboard, but allow that space, for the conversation, to happen. So I think that's
echo chambers are not just exclusive to Wokosos.
No. Oh no.
Because I know you got to go, but we really didn't hit on another issue as far as critical race theory and people connecting this casting to that, which blows my mind.
That was a crazy leap that made zero sense. I understand that aggravates people. I understand that that's politically charged, but it goes together like it does. It's like putting, comparing apples and Skittles. It just, no.
Yeah.
It's just not. I know a lot of people seem to be in a hurry to be outraged and in a hurry to kind of profit from that outrage, but let's think logically here before we go off on that kind of tangent.
Well, gracias, Lorena. Everyone can check her out on Twitter and her channel. Great stuff. What's your next big show?
Next big show, because I'm still in the process of moving down here to La Florida. And I've already had to detect several Latino accents to figure out how I'm going to answer. It's so funny. I got stories to tell you later on. Fat Steven is actually going to be hosting the lunch table on Friday. He's been hosting it for the past couple of weeks. He will for about another 2 weeks. So please do check him out Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I should be on the show on Friday. So please check that out. I'm going to be dropping a couple of videos that I've been taking here around Universal, more specifically around Downtown Disney. There is the Star Wars Outpost store that's there with a lot
Ooh.
of cool merch. So I did a quick
Yeah.
drive-by when I did that live stream,
Yeah, that
but
thing
this
is.
time I'm gonna go back. I need to get some more pictures and video from just like all the stash.
Just looking at that video, like my wallet got slim. I was just like, I want all the baseball stuff. But
yeah. So
thanks
that's
for the last minute coming
no
on. We
problem,
planned this
no
last night, but
problem.
it's important.
Absolutely. So anytime I can come on the slant, it's a pleasure, it's a privilege, and thanks so much for making me a part of it, Paulie. I appreciate it.
You got it. You have a good day. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Yeah. Bye,
All
sweetie.
right. Bye. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Adios, Lorena. All right. Wow. Two incredible people. Great, discussion and thought. I want to get to everyone's super chats. And then right after, head on over to Midnight's Edge. Let them know that the Latino Slant sent you over a slant raid, if you will, on Midnight's Edge. They have Chris Gore on there right now. And I want to remind you tonight that the discussion is going to continue with filmmaker Dennis Leone. He created the show Resurrection Boulevard for Showtime 20 years ago. It had 3 seasons, 53 episodes. He's got a thing or two to say about racism within, not only with Latinos and in-house, but real Hollywood racism that he's had to deal with, because that is the thing. So that's going to be a great discussion here on the channel, 6 p.m. Pacific tonight. All right. Let us see what you guys have to say. Storyman Jack for $5. Muchísimas gracias, Storyman. Just had a thought. This fight is what they want. Us at each other's throat. And honestly, I wasn't aware of all these fact bombs. Thank you. Let me tell you, man, you are not wrong with this statement. That is very, very well put. Elijah Snow for $4.99. The panel seems to recognize the petty and distracting nature of our current situation. It reveals how sinister the undercurrents of today have become. And that's what really disappoints me with some of my people that I follow, and some of how they frame their argument, that it just devalues everyone and devalues the conversation. It might be honest, which is fine, but some of the stuff that I've seen and read is a little hurtful, and we can definitely have a better discord, especially when dealing with stuff like this. So that is my 2 cents on that. All right, awesome. And oh my God, Eric O'Sullivan for $25. Orale. 3 of my favorite YouTube pop culture vices. What a nice conversation about an odd topic. Much gratitude. Representation matters, yet genuine and authentic storytelling always supersedes agenda regardless of intent. So, great point. Because Hollywood in its history has always treated representation upside down, right? As far as in our case, right? And what we're talking about, non-Latino actors portraying Latino roles, whether they're made up historical figures. Emiliano Zapata was a general in the Mexican Army, Mexican Revolution. He was played by Marlon Brando in the 50s. I think he got nominated for it. To fairy tale characters such as a Scarface, a legend. So the representation has always been upside down. And then I think of those actors who are pioneers before the current generation that were only subjugated to those roles that while they treated those roles with dignity and depth, they were still relegated to roles of the villain, the sex pot, the nanny, the illegal, the drug dealer. These performances and in their genres, I'm all about. I love a good drug crime movie, a good action movie. It makes money. People love blowing stuff up, saving the day, saving the girl. I'm all for that. So, but Eric brings up a great point. Authentic storytelling. And you can be authentic in retelling a story. Hollywood has proven that since its beginning. Ben-Hur's been redone. Zorro's been redone. King Kong, over and over again. So I would say that the unique perspective in which a story is told over and over again, that's key, because we know generally the legend. How are you going to make it special to us? Okay, great. Thank you so much, Eric, for that. For $10. Hey, Lorena, R&B, and Paulie. Hey, they laugh, but they're here in spirit. I listened to the music of Hamilton for a long time because tickets were initially impossible to get. I remember that. I love this topic. Bias in casting needs to be addressed. Thank you for this comment, for the super chat. Just based off of the music of In the Heights, his talent is so amazing. He's such a genius. It's so different, even for people that aren't into, like, let's say, rap or hip hop or Latin rhythms. What he does with the Broadway musical, it was never done before. So Hamilton is no different. Glogo, who's a member of the channel, 13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf, Paulie, Robert, and Lorena. This could be a good movie. However, it is Disney. My issue is with the attitudes of the actress and Disney towards half of the country. That is what loses me. We shall see. Well, yeah, I know that has been the topic after the fact, right? As far as the uncovering of this actor's tweets. I really didn't want to address that on this stream. What this stream was about was the initial release and information of this person being cast and the reaction well before finding out as far as her political leanings and her behavior, which I'm with you guys. It's not behavior that's becoming of a talent, and that serves nobody, because it just only proves it doesn't matter how old you are. At any age we can be a bully, and that's hurtful as well, and that's not cool. But we are talking about the reactions that I saw that cross lines of race and ethnicity that were demeaning. That is what, and really not seeing this casting along with other castings as historic and exciting, because we have never had that before. And as the Latino slant wouldn't be much of a Latino slant if we didn't cover this. But Glogo, I really appreciate, man. You are a great member to the channel, as is Bud Boy Productions. Dee Dee Myers, I got to give shout outs to my members here. ¿Qué más? It's Courtney, much love. It's Courtney, and of course Mexican Iron Man. And we have, chat jumped on me. I'm trying to get that other. I know they're, oh my God, so much. I'm way behind. For $5. Rita Moreno addresses the bias she's faced as an actress during the studio system as an actress in her documentary, Just a Girl Who Decided to Go for It. I've heard, and I look forward to watching that. Maybe or RC from the NYC can do a review of that documentary for the channel. We have T-shirted historian doing a review of a new documentary on a political Cuban refugee, which is a fantastic documentary. It's available now on YouTube. We're going to get that to you as well. Okay, I think I got all the awesome, and I see that I got a lot. I got quite a few new people that have subscribed, which I really appreciate. I think that is all with the super chats. Thank you, Dee Dee Myers. Thank you so much. It's interesting because in visiting other channels, in talking and hanging out with other people, you get a sense of where they're coming from and their concerns, and what I love about this community is where we connect, yeah, you know, on our favorite movies. And I really appreciate you guys being here again. When I end this, get on over to Midnight's Edge, let them know the Latino Slant sent you, and it's all right, Paulie, Latino Slag. I forgive you. Forgive me for what? What did I do? Oh, I missed your super chat? Well, we're going to hold on. And you know what? Also, too, one of our lovely members who I haven't seen in a while, well, she was a member, but she's always a member in my heart. Purple Valkyrie. I love having you here. And I've been watching your comments, and thank you so much for being here, Purple. She's got a fantastic channel as well. Okay, let me get on over, because I am going to read your super chat, Senora Courtney. Senora. A ver. Give me 1 second, and I will pull it up. And we'll read a couple more, and then we're out of here. We'll have gone a good hour, which is wonderful. Let me see. Okay. Jane Theory. Oh, there you are. You are right. It's Courtney for $4.99 said, great topic, great panel, excellent commentary. Thank you so much. And wow, we really had a lot of wonderful super chats. And yeah, no, it's okay. It's all right. And wonderful members here. Thank you for being here, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. Consider becoming a member. The memberships include exclusive one-on-ones with filmmakers, live concerts and musicians, and more, because more is in store here on the Latino Slant. I want to thank Reina Creole, Robert Meyer Burnett for coming on. I want to thank our producers, Mexican Iron Man, and T-shirted historian on getting me all this data. You know, let me... thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I always get a little giddy with Robert and Loreno being on the show. Let me talk a little bit more about the casting problems for Latinos and what they had to face. There's not enough established stars. When director Robert Rodriguez cast for El Mariachi in Desperado, he could not find many Hispanic stars, so he made his own. Desperado introduced Salma Hayek to the masses. However, Hollywood studios have a long history of casting white actors in Hispanic roles. Ben Affleck, Argo, John Turturro, The Big Lebowski, Anthony Hopkins in The Mask of Zorro. So, you know, it's a history for better, for worse, guys. And we have to embrace it all, learn from it, and then just go forward with some, you know, great stories and with great performers. And you know, I hope those days are gone, and where there is really an equal playing field. And that's where I see personally this casting as a triumph, because this person, take away her, you know, separate. I'm going to separate what, you know, all the stuff, all that personal stuff. I look at the talent of this person at an early age, and wow, what a mega talent this person is. Yes, to me, this person is the best for this role. Sasha Calle, mega talent, Emmy Award winning for a daytime soap. It doesn't get more grueling for an actor. Great choice. That means she can, on the physical and mental level, take the grueling schedule of being suspended in air for hours. It's an exciting time. I'm with you. I just want the best entertainment at the end of the day. Oh, we got a new member, or maybe it's an... Well, hell, let's upgrade. Hey, thanks, Glogo. Brandon the Infinite Wolf. You upgraded to vas a ver. Vas a ver. Jefecito, vas a ver. Let me see. What did you upgrade to? See all. And let me see. Let me refresh. You were a capitan. Have you become a general, like Courtney in Mexican Iron Man? Because then you're gonna get a. Well, look at here. We have 2 upgrades. Bad Boy Productions just upgraded to general. Glogo just upgraded to general. And generals, when all is said and done, because our store has been not working, but that is no longer. You guys get a deeper discount, and you guys will get more exclusive access to filmmakers and writers. Okay, everyone, I'm out of here. Let's head on over to Midnight's Edge Espanol, Midnight's Edge regular. If you guys missed the video, I'm going to play it one more time on our way out. Thank you to everyone, and be well, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Gracias.